Hello, everybody. Long time no see. We're back for some scrambling. I'm here with Yoshi.
What's up, folks?
It's been at least a month since we last did this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the data right here. It looks like it's been 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Yeah. In that time period, I made a board game, and that's pretty cool. That's one of the reasons why. There are other reasons too, but we are heading back into it. Do you recall?
You don't want to plug the board game? I guess it's not like publicly available, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's Stardust
Oh, it
Butterfly.
is. Yeah, it
It
is.
is.
It's on the site.
Yeah, it's on the site. It's on the site. I've made a few videos about it on this channel, so I'll probably make
Oh, okay.
someday. I'll make like a gameplay video. I'll get Yoshi and some other person to play along, and we'll record our
Oh,
gameplay.
that's good. That's gonna be fun. Yeah. So, guys, Starburst Dragonfly. Check it out on Steam. Um, Steam sale.
That's actually a pretty cool name. Maybe like the sequel could be Starburst Dragonfly. Sunburst.
Sunburst. That's the trip whatever you call a sequel to a sequel. Sunburst Damselfly.
Okay.
Sorry. Just for the viewers, I was incorrect. It appears to have been 7 weeks. I was just looking at our call log, and I called you 5 weeks ago, but that was not for this.
Oh yeah, that was probably for playtesting the
Yeah, it was.
asteroid bust horsefly.
Yeah, we're gonna keep workshopping that name. But yeah, these poor folks have had to wait almost 2 months. This is a scramble emergency.
What do you recall from last time, Yoshi?
Not much about much, to be honest. Tateno is a bad guy. He's being very smug. No, not Tateno. What's his name? The butler, Tanuki.
Yeah, the butler.
Tanaka.
Tanaka.
Tanaka?
Yeah, Tanaka. Tateno is.
Kano's hero.
Yeah, Kano's hero.
Who poured gasoline on himself. He could be a bad. No, but Jack Stanley said he could be a bad guy too. He was like, "What do you know about this?
Yeah.
How well do you really know this man?"
We haven't really seen him around.
Yeah, what's that about?
We just know that, like, he went missing or something. He went rogue or something. And Kano's like, no! He's my hero! He's a good guy!
Yeah, that is what he sounds like, actually. Get that in the notes.
I think it already is. Yeah, in the notes, Kano, the one word description is whiny.
I feel like that's our description for a lot of the characters.
Alright, let me look at the time chart. So last time we left off... Oh, it looks like we started... No, we didn't start. Kano's
How come I
storyline.
can't see the game? Am I supposed to be able to see the game?
Oh yeah, you're supposed to see the game. You can't see it?
No. You're streaming, right?
Yeah, I'm streaming. I'm streaming my screen.
Alright, I can see it now. Sorry, folks.
So you recognize all the characters? We got Kano and Achi. With his Pico
Yep.
shirt. We got... He's no longer Tama, but Maria. But I guess she doesn't know that she's Maria. I don't know what her shirt says.
Lincoln Park,
It's Linkin
I
Park?
think. I see KIN, so what else could it be? Dunkin' Donuts?
It's true.
Uh,
Dunkin' Park.
Webkins? She could be.
Snuck in. Osawa and Minorikawa.
What about Hitomi? Did she never had a character?
She's just hanging out with Achi.
Okay.
Basically, Achi's line is also Hitomi,
Right.
at least as far as we've seen. Let's see, Kano. I think he was in this control room, leading like the investigation, chasing after this guy, and Sasayama went after this guy, Alcarawan, and he ended up stabbed. I think that's where that ended off.
Oh, yeah, he got stabbed by the guy from No Country from Old Men. Anton Chigurh.
And then Achi, they escaped the arcade, the mall place, the Gigo.
And has the right twin, right?
Yeah, he's got the right twin, the correct one.
Okay.
And they meet up with this Kanan chick.
Oh, yeah.
The
Kanan.
one who's like an assassin or something.
She's a super badass special ops assassin from like Morocco or something.
Yeah, somewhere in the Middle East. And then we have Maria, who also was at
Maria who? He said Maria who?
Maria. Maria was also at the mall place, and was picked up by the guy that's chasing after Achi and Hitomi, the guy with the cane. And that's what's going on.
That's not good for her.
Yeah. What happened with Osawa? A lot of sitting around his house. They found out about Tanaka. It looks like he just sits in silence for like 30 minutes, it looks like. But
He's thinking about the apron. He's thinking about the monkey guy in his apron.
I think he's thinking about calling Minorikawa, because they encountered each other. Minorikawa was like, hey.
He wanted
wanna
an
talk to your
interview.
girls."
Yeah. And he was like, I hate 4-star general gossip.
Yeah.
They said that my wife is fat.
But then he's like, I need to look into my wife and my company. And so he's called Minorikawa.
Okay. A meeting of the hotties.
And Minorikawa has done a bunch of interviews. And now he's rushing off to try to save the day.
Yeah, he's a workhorse.
Yeah. Alright, so who did you want to jump into? I think that's a pretty good roundup.
Yeah, we got a lot of spice, a lot of spicy options. Let's go with Achi.
Your boy Achi. Alright.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while, I think.
Well, we haven't heard from anyone in a while.
But I think it extra hasn't been like we finished his. We always finish him early because he's sweet.
Let me check there's a summary button just to make sure we're caught up. Kanan claims it was her fault that Maria was kidnapped. Vows to save her. She then tells Achi and Hitomi to meet her at Gigo at 3 p.m. and heads off to confront some syndicate thugs. Achi and Hitomi arrive at Gigo ahead of schedule, but they become separated. After repeated run-ins with a host of strangers and a little filler arc, the two manage to reunite just in time for the man with the cane to appear yet again. but they escape in the nick of time, finding Kanan waiting for them outside. Speaking of which, Kanan led them into a narrow back alley. The moment she stopped, Hitomi spoke up.
Ooh, what's a back alley?
It's a place where members of SOS don't come by very much. Word has it that in this place around 10 years ago, one man beat the crap out of 7 street toughs in the blink of an eye all by himself. Over time, people have offered various theories that he was an assassin, that he was some foreign soldier, even that he might have been a ghost. And to this day, the urban legend lives on. Do you think this is like foreshadowing? Or is
no,
that
it's
like
in the past.
Reference?
I think it's in the past. It happened in the past. It was Achi or Kanan or something.
But Kanan was in like Morocco or something, wouldn't she have been?
Well, she doesn't have to stay in one place. She's an assassin. They travel. They don't. It's not a work from home kind of telecommute kind of job, you know.
Assassin through Zoom. Why was my sister kidnapped? Who's the Kanan voice? Let me look. Where do I have Kanan written down? Oh, Yoshi, you're Kanan.
Alright, do we have a note?
Yes. LOL.
It says LOL?
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know. It must have been Goofy.
Okay. Alright. Goofy. Before I answer that, there's something I need to tell you.
Kanan said. Her tone was cold and sharp.
Nailed it. I've come to Japan because I'm on a mission. I'm not at liberty to discuss all the details.
It's like a polite Southern woman kind of
Yeah. But
right.
Cool and sharp.
Hitomi gave a slight nod.
Answer your question. Maria was kidnapped by mistake.
What? Hitomi gasped. But why?
Because this kidnap isn't after Maria. They're after you.
Who's after me?
The mastermind behind this whole thing.
Kanan said. Her tone was matter-of-fact.
Nailed it. Whoa, hold on.
Achi interrupted.
What do they want Hitomi for? That I cannot say. Well then, who is this person? I can't tell you that either. You see, their sex, nationality, age, appearance, just about everything about them is shrouded in mystery. So there's honestly not much I can tell you.
Achi and Hitomi stood dumbfounded.
What gives?
Achi said.
So you're saying all you know about this person is that there has some lame name like a mastermind?
Hitomi turned to whisper in his ear. Mastermind isn't actually their name. Originally used solely to refer to someone of remarkable intellect.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I would say that that's one instance where they, a rare instance where they did the joke did not translate that well.
Oh, this.
Like I'm sure that bit.
Yeah.
The bit about Achi misunderstanding the name, I bet that went over a lot smoother in Japanese. Because they said like it's mastermind or whatever, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably because they use a lot of English words sometimes. So she probably said mastermind in English, and he thought it was a name.
Yeah. I'm here.
Kanan spat.
Because I'm looking for revenge.
Revenge? Hitomi asked. What for?
This person also killed my friend.
Kanan's inscrutable eyes flashed with a threatening gleam. Earlier, you said that it was your fault my sister got kidnapped, Hitomi said. Kanan cast her eyes down.
4 days ago, I managed to learn this criminal's plan, so I got in touch with Maria and told her that you were going to be attacked at that party.
So that's why she told me not to go. Hitomi's voice trembled as she spoke.
I gave Maria a small GPS tracker to give to you, but I guess you never got it?
GPS, Global Positioning System, a network of man-made satellites and ground-based control stations for providing geolocation data. Alternately, the device that makes use of said system. Modern cell phones and vehicle navigation systems use the GPS. And here's a little video showing how it works. Pretty
Very cool. That still looks like triangulation. I don't think they still use that method.
Well, this was like 15 years ago.
It's like 10 years ago? 15? Okay, yeah.
2008, I think?
Yeah. Going on 15 years.
Ooh, Hitomi shook her head. I see. She must still have it then. Oh, no, wait. I think that was Kanan who said she must still have it then. Wait, so then my sister... The color drained from Hitomi's face as she understood.
Yes.
Kanan replied.
Maria acted as a decoy and let herself get kidnapped in your stead.
I should write the Southern polite right now before I forget.
Just always just change it again.
LOL Southern polite. There we go. Hitomi swayed on her feet, shocked to the verge of fainting. Achi hurriedly reached out and caught her in his arms.
But wait,
He said to Kanan as he held Hitomi up.
I don't get that either. Why didn't neither of them go? Then nobody would have been kidnapped, right? I mean, why does sister need to go and act as a decoy?
Kanan let out a tiny sigh.
If she hadn't gone to the party, the kidnappers would have just found some other opportunity to come after her. Okay.
Achi nodded.
That sort of makes sense. I'm betting that Maria's plan was to use the GPS to lead me to these guys' hideout. She wanted to keep her sister safe, and also figured she could help me with my mission. It's the sort of scheme she'd think of. So then can't she use the GPS to locate Hitomi's sister?
Achi asked. Kanan shook her head.
The GPS hasn't been powered on since she was kidnapped. It's possible the kidnappers took it from her. Wait, what? So after all that, even you can't find Maria?
Achi slumped his shoulders in disappointment.
I didn't say that. What do you mean? I got some intel from those syndicate members we met earlier. Apparently, sometime this morning they put Maria into a blue minivan, and since then they've been moving her all around Shibuya.
Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances at the mention of the blue minivan.
Unfortunately,
Kanan continued.
those operatives didn't know what the current situation was exactly. So we're back to the blue van then.
Achi hurriedly explained what they'd been through so far. He mentioned how they'd first seen the blue van where the kidnappers had told Hitomi to find it. He also described how first the man with the cane and then a host of others had come after them. He got a little sidetracked here and there, but Kanan quietly listened to the end.
I see,
She muttered.
So then, what do you think?
Achi asked.
Seems like we messed up their scheme a little, huh? Whatever the case, this man with the cane concerns me,
Kanan said.
I doubt he's working with the others. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's it. Some guy who isn't involved butts in, and he throws off their whole plan.
Kanan nodded in agreement.
Because you and that man with the cane showed up,
She said.
they couldn't leave the minivan where it was. They took a sensible precaution. But then if you think about it, isn't this an opportunity for us to turn the tables on Mr. Mastermind?
Kanan flashed him a faint, speculative smile.
Ooh, we got a little love triangle going on here? I wonder about that. Oh, come on.
Achi grumbled.
You're such a buzzkill. Any well-made plan has a good solid outline, which means that even after it has come to fruition, it's easy to trace things back to the planner. Is that how that works? By contrast, if you achieve your goals using accidental means, the outline becomes blurred, and it makes it harder for anyone outside looking in to grasp what the actual plan is.
Achi swallowed hard as he took in the gravity of the situation.
Well, but I mean, like, if there's an accident, people are gonna for sure panic. Plan or not.
The corners of Kanan's lips curled up.
Typically, I suppose.
He said.
But the people who are after Hitomi, not only have they put together a perfect plan, they've purposely left certain tiny holes in it. And so we can't even figure out who they are. The outline of the plan is always too blurry.
Achi had no response to that. It was like he was hearing about some completely different world beyond the one he knew. If what Kanan had said was true, he'd been dealing with opponents that were on a level way above his own.
In any event, since these people are after you, it'd be best if you didn't wander around town anymore,
Kanan told him. By now, Hitomi had recovered. She stood up straight and shook her head. No, I'm going to find that blue minivan. My sister is in danger because of me. I can't abandon her just to save myself.
Yeah, that's right.
Achi patted Hitomi on the back. Pat, pat.
And if that's what you're gonna do, then I don't care who we're up against. I'm with you in this until the end. Heck, it's too late for me to back out now. That ship has already failed.
Hitomi giggled despite herself. It's already sailed, Achi.
Yeah.
Kanan let out another sigh.
You see, that bit worked really well in English because
Yeah.
yeah.
They translated, they use a more widely known English idiom instead of, I don't know.
I think they just put a lot of effort into translating some of these jokes.
Yeah.
Generally do a
Mr.
pretty good job.
Mastermind was probably pretty tough to do.
Yeah. All right. Just make sure you're extra careful.
She said.
You can't count on getting bailed out of trouble like you have before.
I understand, Hitomi said. Her eyes showed no trace of doubt or fear. Kanan gave her a slight nod, then quickly disappeared down the alleyway.
Kanan's cute. Wouldn't mind seeing more of her. Right then.
Achi said.
Want to get back to looking for that minivan?
Then he stopped, remembering their previous efforts. If they just heedlessly wandered around town, they'd probably end up in the same trouble they'd encountered before. They'd get chased by the man with the cane, or by the kidnappers, and their search would be interrupted yet again. What should they do then? There had to be a better way. Achi happened to glance upward, and caught sight of a surveillance camera installed on one of the streetlights.
That's it. God, I can't believe I didn't think of it before.
Hitomi peered at him, startled by his sudden shouting.
We just need to use my old man's surveillance cameras and this'll be a breeze.
Achi took Hitomi by the hand and started running. His destination? The security camera monitoring room. Dogensaku. He's just going to Dogensaku. Achi didn't slow his pace until they were nearing their destination. Then he turned to look back at Hitomi. He was about to ask if she was doing all right when someone close at hand called out to him.
Hey, no. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you ever heard of SOS?
Achi stopped in his tracks as a stranger stepped in front of him. The guy looked too old to be picking a fight with SOS. Achi regarded him with suspicion.
Yeah, why do you ask? Do you happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore.
The man's eyes flashed with a gleam of recognition. Did this guy know who he was? With a broad grin, the stranger took a step closer. Achi's heart sank. He couldn't afford to get caught up in some new hassle right now. Hitomi flashed him a worried look.
Let's go.
Achi and Hitomi dodged past the man and hurried onward. Let's go. Even if the guy was harmless, they needed to be on their guard. There was no telling just how many thugs and assassins were looking for Hitomi. Rather than head directly for the surveillance building, Achi decided he better make sure the stranger wasn't up to something. Hitomi followed as he slipped quickly into a back alley. There was no indication that the man was following them. What was that guy's deal? Hitomi asked.
No idea. But he sure seemed kind of fishy. It doesn't look like he's coming after us, though.
They took a quick detour through another seedy back alley. Then, as they were starting to head toward their original destination, Achi felt a sudden searing pain in his back.
Ugh.
Glancing over his shoulder, he discovered that one of the foreign syndicate members had crept up and struck him from behind.
Oh no, I've been stabbed.
Ah!
Oh.
I think that's Hitomi.
Oh, that's okay.
Ah! Hitomi screamed. Another man had suddenly appeared, grabbing her by the arms.
Tommy.
Achi tried to reach out to her, but his arm was leaden. His body refused to obey his commands. As the attacker wrenched the knife from his back, Achi felt the blood gushing out of his wound.
Dang, everyone's getting stabbed.
The two men started to drag Hitomi away.
Damn it.
He tried to pursue them, but his legs faltered and couldn't find their footing. He was losing blood so fast he was starting to fade from consciousness. Achi could only watch, impotently, as Hitomi was dragged further and further away. Bad end.
We didn't have any decisions. We didn't have any choices.
Achi
How are we get a bad
got
end?
stabbed. caught in a surprise attack by one of the kidnappers. He could only watch helplessly as Hitomi was taken away. If that weird guy hadn't tried to talk to him, Achi would have never have taken the risk of wandering through the alleys. But how can you keep that guy from wanting to interview Achi? I wonder. Alright, yeah. So what do you want to do?
I guess let's jump over to Minorikawa and see if we can fix it. Right?
Yeah, we can do that. Alright, Minorikawa. Alright, let's check out the summary. Which button is it? There it is. Oh yeah, his laptop died. Reconnected it to the power, gets back to writing, then he gets a lead on Miss Midoriyama. He goes to the Osawa residence, but is turned away at the gate, and then he interviews the washed-up writer, but then Kenji Osawa calls him up to look into a scandal. And now he's just running.
Wait a second. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Ah!
Gah! Minorikawa stopped and let out a cry of frustration. Daisuke Endo had asked him for a favor after their interview was done. He'd promised to tell the Wandering Angels that the dry ice machine they'd purchased was defective. Episode 5! At last, the climax of the play drew near. There was a whole string of troubles, but the cast soldiered on, and it looked like things were going to end alright. Then, backstage, Bando noticed that the dry ice machine was acting strangely. Even after it had been turned off, the machine continued to churn out more dry ice. The producer, Tsukuzawa, demanded that the defective device be returned immediately. And so, Tozuka, Bando, and Amo loaded it into their vehicle and left the theater. Continued in episode 6.
Oh, those wandering angels. What will they get into next?
Gah! Well, damn. That had completely slipped his mind. If he recalled correctly, the issue was that once the machine started making dry ice, it wouldn't stop. If he ran back to the theater now, he'd lose about 10 minutes. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. The lone people would be coming by the editing office before too long. He needed to prove to them that next month's issue of 4-Star General Gossip was well underway, or else they'd refuse to wait any longer for repayment. And to do that, he needed to fill a minimum of 6 of the 12 remaining blank pages. He couldn't afford to waste even a single second. This was an awkward position to be in. He needed to keep his promise to Endo, but he also needed to spend his time wisely.
If only there were a device that allowed you to communicate with someone who you weren't like in the room with, so that he could use it like while he's going somewhere else to like contact them. I don't know. Maybe that's something they'll develop in the next 15 years. Anyways, guess I don't have a choice.
There's nothing.
Immediately followed by a choice.
What's he gonna do? Hurry on, or head back?
He's a man of integrity. He's gonna head back to the theater.
All right. He'd agreed to take on a responsibility. He headed back for the theater. When he got there, he flagged down the first guy he saw to tell him about the dry ice machine.
Hey, make sure you remember what I'm about to tell you, okay? Dry ice machine is broken.
The man stared back at him blankly, but Minorikawa just forged ahead.
Got it? The dry ice machine is broken. It needs to go back to the electronics store. Make sure you let the folks in charge here know.
His obligation met, he hurried back to the cafe to get back to work on his copy. Along the way, he caught sight of a young couple running.
Oh, rats.
They seemed like an odd pair. The girl looked prim and proper, while the boy struck him as a bit thuggish. In fact, the boy's clothing was very much in the style worn by Shibuya's street gangs.
Maybe he'd know something about SOS.
Hurrying to cross their path, Minorikawa called out to the pair.
Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you heard of SOS?
The pair stopped, eyeing him warily. The young man spoke.
Yeah, why do you ask? Do you happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore.
Well, if the kid had once been part of the group, he ought to be able to provide some background anyhow. Minorikawa took a step closer to the couple, formulating his next question. But they didn't stick around to hear it.
Let's go,
The young man said, and a moment later he and the girl were running away.
Hey!
But the pair paid him no heed. In a moment they had vanished down an alley. The story about SOS would have to wait till later then. Welp.
So that's not good.
Did you want to go back and change that choice, or do you want to just plow on first?
We can always fix it late. We can fix it later, right?
Yeah, we can fix it later.
Okay. Let's just keep going.
Minorikawa hurried into the cafe. Wasting no time, he sat right down and plugged his laptop into the nearest power outlet. He plunked himself down on the floor and hit the computer's power switch. The waitress gave him a disapproving look. I think I'm the waitress. Yeah, I'm the waitress. Sir, I'm afraid you can't sit there.
Oh, it looks like your tables are full. I'll make do here.
Well, being able to make do isn't really the issue.
I'll have a coffee, please.
Ugh. Just do whatever you want. The waitress turned away and stared vacantly up at the ceiling. Who's saying this?
Oh, if I had to guess, for my money, I don't know for sure, but for my money, if I had to say, I would say it's probably Kano's father-in-law, future father-in-law.
Okay, so you want to read it in that gruff southern accent?
Yeah. You know, a person can only get away with being obnoxious for so long. Sooner or later, someone's likely to call the police.
Minorikawa looked up from his work, startled to see the burning hammer salesman standing over him.
You're Mr. Yanagishita. Thank you so much for stopping by earlier. Are you gonna write your article here?
Yanagishita eyed Minorikawa's computer.
Ooh, that's the latest model, isn't it? Look, I got no time to talk right now.
Minorikawa opened the file with his half-written copy.
Ooh, what's this? Chaos at bogus weight loss strength sales demo.
Yanagishita read the copy out loud.
The organizer, Junichi Yanagishita, didn't merely have a whiff of deceit about him, his breath also stunk. Sound good?
Minorikawa asked.
I wanted to make sure I gave an accurate impression. Oh, I love what you've done with it. This is great copy. Fantastic.
Yanagishita turned to look at him with a manic grin.
Yeah, isn't it?
In a flash, Yanagishita's face went from grinning to livid.
Like hell it is. You think I'm just gonna let you write something like that?
Snatching up the computer, Yanagishita bolted out of the cafe.
Hey, get back here.
Minorikawa leapt to his feet and rushed off in pursuit. As he sprinted madly along, Yanagishita turned down a narrow alley. Minorikawa stayed close behind, desperate not to lose sight of him. His quarry began to weave his way through the back alleys of Shibuya. This guy clearly knew his way around town. By Miyashita Park, they zipped up onto a pedestrian bridge. Just where the heck was this idiot going? Halfway across the overpass, Yanagishita suddenly stopped. Confused, Minorikawa stopped as well.
Give that back,
he called. The next moment, Yanagishita flashed a mocking grin and dangled the laptop over the railing.
Uh-oh.
Minorikawa lunged toward him, but it was already too late. This is like what happened in that first chapter of Money. The laptop left Yanagishita's hand and went spinning down through the air. Then, as the two men struggled, Yanagishita himself toppled over the railing. Without hesitating, Minorikawa jumped down as well.
Whoa! Waha!
Minorikawa landed hard. As he struggled to regain his breath, he looked around and saw Yanagishita beside him. Incredibly, the laptop was safe in the charlatan's grasp. Apparently, he'd somehow managed to catch it in midair. Before Minorikawa could get too relieved, however, Yanagishita got to his feet and took off running again.
Get back here, you little weasel! I don't think so.
This Yanagishita guy was infuriating. That, and he was really fast. Minorikawa considered himself a decent runner, but he couldn't manage to gain on Yanagishita. If running away was a competitive sport, this guy would be a world-class superstar. As he ran along, a peculiar thought occurred to him.
Hold on a minute. If he hates my copy that much, shouldn't he have wanted my computer to break? Why do you go out of his way to catch it like that?
It made no sense at all.
Hey!
Minorikawa shouted between gasping breaths.
What are you planning to do with my laptop?
Yanagishita glanced back at him.
Gonna sell it. Sorry about this. What?
Minorikawa was taken aback.
Consider it compensation for the defamation of character.
In the civil sense, the act of unlawfully damaging another person's character or reputation in the public eye in the criminal sense. The act of disseminating damaging facts about an individual to an unspecified large number of people.
Nice job reading that.
For some reason, it's not really a sentence. It's
a string of words.
a string of words. I thought it was going to be a sentence.
They got you.
They got me. They got me like, I don't know.
Come on, get real. It can't be defamation if the article hasn't run yet. Then consider it an advance on the compensation.
This was so nonsensical it made Minorikawa's head hurt. But now at least he knew why Yanagishita had dived after the computer. The thief continued to weave his way through the side streets. His speed didn't diminish in the slightest.
Damn it, this guy has too much experience running away.
Minorikawa's stamina began to fade, and finally he lost sight of his quarry. But that didn't mean he was ready to give up the search. There were articles on that computer that were right on the verge of completion. Whatever it took, he had to get it back. Yanagishita had said he was going to sell it. Where could he be headed then? Where shall we go?
Endo Electronics, baby. It's the only one of those that's an electronics store.
Probably he was headed to Endo Electronics. It was the only local place he could think of that might buy a second-hand computer. Damn, the guy had led him on a wild goose chase. Minorikawa started running toward Dogenzaka. As he approached the scramble outside the station, he caught sight of a skinny figure disappearing into the throng along Center Guy. A suit with deep bluish stripes. There was only one man he knew who dressed like that. But why was he headed down Center Guy and not toward Dogenzaka?
Oh.
Now he remembered. There was a second-hand knick-knack shop near where the Burning Hammer demo had been held. He recalled seeing the poster out front that read, "We buy computers at top prices." That had to be it. That's where Yanagishita was planning on selling his laptop. Changing directions, Minorikawa darted down Center Guy.
There you are, Yanagishita.
Minorikawa burst into the shop on Center Guy, an accusing finger pointing squarely at the thief.
Listen.
Oh.
This guy talks dumb?
Yeah, I have idiot written next to his name.
Okay. I think it was just basically my regular voice.
Yeah.
Listen, there's no way I'm buying a computer that doesn't have a power cable. Details. All you sell here is junk anyway.
Yanagishita and shopkeeper had gotten into an argument. Minorikawa recognized the shopkeeper. It was the guy he'd run into on the roadside earlier.
That computer belongs to me.
Minorikawa shouted as he marched up to them.
Give it back.
Yanagishita clutched the laptop to his chest.
Nuh-uh. I need the money. Knock it off. You're acting like a child.
Minorikawa tried to slap him out of his tantrum, but Yanagishita ducked to avoid the blow. Then, bizarrely, Yanagishita froze. A fierce gleam came to his eyes. He broke into an incomprehensible stammer.
That's it.
Yanagishita snatched up a flyer that his gaze had fixed on.
Iron stomach, huh? This right here is my little bluebird of happiness.
He cried.
You know what? You can have this.
Yanagishita shoved the laptop into Minorikawa's arms.
Ha ha ha. And welcome to it, you idiot. I don't need no worthless computer. You're the idiot, Buster.
Minorikawa smacked Yanagishita right across the face.
Ouch.
Hitting him felt good. He decided to do it again. Minorikawa shoved Yanagishita toward the shopkeeper.
Hand this guy over to the police,
he said.
Eep. No, not the police.
Yanagishita pleaded.
Can it, you thief? You tried to rip me off, and now you have no idea how much is riding on my work. You deserve 10,000 deaths.
Honestly, you'd think that dying once would be sufficient.
10,000? Isn't that taking things just a little too far? I'm sorry already. I give up.
Finally, the guy was ready to surrender. Minorikawa let his guard down for just a moment.
Like hell I am.
Switching gears in an instant, Yanagishita took off running at full speed.
This again. Get back here, you bastard.
Minorikawa was already in pursuit.
Wait, so that thing about a bluebird was just a decoy? He's just
He's stuck with the
he
Unagi.
saw as a computer, right?
Huh?
Yanagi saw as a
I don't know. I thought it.
All right,
I'm
we'll
not
figure it out.
sure. It's unclear.
Cool.
I guess we'll find out soon. He stuck with Yanagisha as far as Koendori before losing track of him. The guy sure knew how to make a getaway. Breathing hard, Minorikawa stopped and took a look around the area. As he did, he heard a cell phone ringtone from somewhere nearby. It was a new single from the pop singer Aya Kamiki. Could that be Yanagisha's phone? Huh. Could be. Somehow, he struck Minorikawa as the type of guy who'd have a ringtone like that. It seemed worth looking into, anyhow. He had nothing else to go on. Minorikawa shifted his gaze around, trying to locate the source of the sound.
It's Osawa, right? Keep out? Oh, okay.
Suddenly, a massive, fiery blast knocked him from his feet. By the time he realized it was an explosion, his senses were already shattered.
What just happened?
He couldn't see. He couldn't hear. He couldn't move his body.
Where am I?
For a while, all he could feel was an intense pain, but soon even that faded away. And then, there was only darkness. Bad end. An unexpected explosion. Chasing Nagisha led Minorikawa to the wrong place at exactly the wrong time. This wouldn't have happened if Nagisha hadn't run when he did. If the MMA fighter Miku Morita comes into the knick-knack shop, she'll interrupt their argument and things might turn out differently.
Cool. So we need to find Miku Morita.
Should we fix that one choice from earlier, though?
Might as well.
I'm sure things will still turn out to be the same, at least on down this line, but it'll open up Achi. I think it's here. Looks like I've got no choice. A choice. Hurrying on to the cafe. There's nothing he could do about having forgotten. He hurried on to the cafe.
Sorry, Endo. Sorry, Owari. You're just gonna have to let this one slide. I've got Toyama's life on the line here.
He opened the door to the cafe with the practice of a regular. Oh wait, things are a little different. Oh, welcome. The waitress only got that far before her face fell. You again.
Hey, hurry up and get me a seat.
She grinned wickedly. I'm terribly sorry, sir, but we're all full at the moment. He looked around. All of the seats were indeed filled. As you can see, sir.
Really now?
The waitress's grin widened with triumph. Yes, sir.
Fine, I'll just right here. Let me get some power.
Jamming his power cable into a nearby outlet, Minorikawa plucked himself right down on the floor and booted up his laptop. The waitress watched in dismay, then turned to stare vacantly up at the ceiling. Just do whatever you want, she muttered vaguely. Right, I think this is back to where we were before. Yeah. Alright.
Cool.
I don't know if we have time for another segment.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. How do I get back to the character select? I want to go back. We can watch him die again.
Rip. I kind of like this song.
Couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't move his body. Where am I? Intense pain. And then there was only darkness. Alright, we're back. So we have to find this Miku person.
Yeah.
We also opened up Achi, so Achi probably won't get stabbed in that alleyway. Unless something else happens. And we gotta check in on these other three. We don't know what's going on.
Nope, sure don't.
So, what do you think? Any impressions, theories, opinions?
Not opinions. I don't really know where this is going. I like the waitress. I think they did a really good job with her vacant stare.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the highlights of this episode.
It said she was staring at the ceiling, but she was actually looking at the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like that they said the word scramble. It's a little Easter egg for the super fans, you know.
It's true.
They were like the scramble continued or whatever, and I was like, ooh, scramble. I was like pointing, you know, like that meme where Leonardo DiCaprio points at the television screen or whatever. He's like, ah. Yeah. I was like, scramble. That's that that game.
It's that game.
So that was really cool.
Title drop. They said Shibuya a few times too.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the name. You know, that's the name of the place. It's a part of Tokyo.
Yeah.
This is in Tokyo, right?
Yeah, this is in Tokyo.
Yeah. Thought so, because there's a lot of folks, you know?
Yeah, it looks like a pretty big city. It also takes place in Shibuya.
Yes. That's how you know it's in Tokyo.
Ooh, so we're gonna be picking this up again.
I hope so.
Right?
Yeah. I think we are.
Yeah. The episodes will probably be about like an hour long, which is generally how they were before. I know sometimes we would go like over, but
yeah, I'd say they were like 60 to 80 minutes typically.
Admittedly, like 10 minutes for each of that is these post discussion chats that devolve into like food and whatever else.
Yes.
I don't really have anything to say about food though today.
I had the endless shrimp at Red Lobster a few hours ago.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Did you keep count?
I only ate like Not really. I ate between 40 and 50 shrimps. I had like 2 orders and then a refill of them. And then a waitress came by and she was like, "What can I get you for your next shrimps?" And I was like, actually, I think I'm done." And she seemed a little disappointed, and I was like, so I felt the need to defend myself, and I told her, I was like, one time I came here and I ate over 100 shrimps. And she was like, "Wow, that's very impressive, but it would seem that tonight is not going to be like that." And I said no.
I only
And
arrived
she
with half
said,
an appetite.
yeah, she said maybe next time. And I said next time I won't eat lunch. And she said that's a good idea. I also had a debate with my mom, who was eating at Red Lobster with me, about the ethics of she kept wanting to eat my shrimps, and I was like, "Mom, I don't really care in the same sense that like I wouldn't feel particularly bad about, say, shoplifting a candy bar, but it's just so you know, please be discreet about it because it's unethical when someone is
Yeah.
getting all you can eat food to share their food." And
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
she she kept saying like, "Oh, but if you had ordered something else, you would give me a couple bites." And I said, "It's not the same because like that every shrimp that you eat from me is like another shrimp on average that I will want to eat from the restaurant, and like that dynamic is that same dynamic is not going on if we both have finite quantities of food." And it just we just went around and around in circles. She's not like you know a, a professor of logic or anything, so she wasn't. She kept saying like, "Oh, if you just got scallops or something, and gave me a couple, it'd be fine." And I was just like, "Mom, but it wouldn't be all you can eat scallops. It would just be scallops." But she had two. I let her have two, but I told her to put the tails back on my plate so it didn't look like she'd eaten them.
Yeah.
And then I ate most of the tails because I like to eat the tails when I eat shrimp.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Just like adds a little crunch.
yeah. You make sure you get all the meat that way. And you know what they taste like? They taste like crab. The tail of a shrimp tastes like kind of like eating a soft shell crab,
Huh.
and it probably has lots of calcium and stuff. So if you haven't, next time you eat a shrimp, try eating the tail.
Yeah, usually with like when it's on a little sashimi thing, I kind of pull the tails off, but I guess I'll try it next time. I'll just eat the whole thing.
Yeah, you mean nigiri?
Nigiri. Yeah. Sashimi is just without the rice. Nigiri has the rice. Yeah.
Yeah, try it. You might like it. So that's not the best shrimp to eat the tail. I would still eat the tail of that, but it is better when like these
When it's
shrimps,
cooked
for
for.
example, are like cooked in butter,
Oh yeah.
and like so there's there's like some little flavor cooked into the shell.
All
Oh,
right.
and you do
I
get
I
some.
might
So
still
on,
just pull it off.
uh, yeah, I mean on the nigiri, you don't really get a. There's no shell, right? There's just tail.
Yeah. It's just the tail is still on there.
Yes, like on these shrimps, they still have like the last segment of shell. You know what I mean? You know how sometimes when you're eating shrimp, like you have to kind of pull the flesh out of that little cone of shell that is still attached to the tail. No.
Um. What was that again? The music stopping kind of threw me off.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Sometimes when you're eating a shrimp, certain preparations of shrimp, you have to pull the last little bit of flesh out of a little
Yeah.
open cone of shell that's attached to the tail. These were like those types of shrimp, so that there was actually some shell with the flesh in it to eat at the end, and that gives it that nice crunch, and I think is part of what gives it. So I guess what I'm saying, which is even more disgusting, is that I eat the tails and the shells,
Oh.
and it's good. It's good.
I mean, it kind of makes sense if it's like cooked in butter. That flavor
Yeah,
gets like trapped underneath the shell.
it does.
I guess I'll try it sometime.
I think you'll like it. You eat all kinds of wacky stuff. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I do. You got me. Well, I gotta start getting ready for work.
All right, cool beans. Glad to be back. Back in the saddle.
We'll try to do this next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really much else to say. We kind of already said it. Check out the board game I made. That's a good note to end on.
Yeah, Stardust Butterfly.
It's got a cool like digital version as well.
Is that available to folks at home if they want to play it?
Yeah, if you go on the page, you can just get it for free.
Sweet, that's even better than a Steam sale.
Alright, well, I'm gonna click stop recording. See you guys next time.
See you, folks.